Earlier today, Vancouver Canucks general manager Jim Benning came out to a press conference that was done via Zoom. It was about 30 minutes long, and it was done with the members of the media that went out there and hammered this guy with questions, talking about direction, talking about contracts, talking about mistakes, where the team is in the standings, and how exactly they plan to move forward. And I'll say this right here. This Vancouver Canucks press conference has done nothing to ease any of the concerns that the Vancouver Canucks fan base and media have had towards this team going into the next few weeks. It, in fact, has made things kind of worse. Because the way this press conference went about, I'm pretty sure Jim Benning is like me. You know, me. Whenever I make these YouTube videos, I try to provide context. I try to provide an explanation that's watered down and simplified. And the reason I do this is because YouTube is a big platform. We have people coming in every day. Not everybody is going to know everything about every topic that I talk about. So if there's someone out there who knows nothing about the Canucks and they come onto this channel, I try to provide the explanation so that they understand what's going on. And I take the fault for that. Sometimes people say that these videos are really simple and that my takes are simple, and that's the point. It's done so that this content is appealing to a mass audience, and Jim Benning kind of did the same thing with these questions and answers. In fact, it was so watered down that he kind of just explained everything that everybody has been kind of simplified and talked about over the past few months, and he did it in such a way that kind of puts the blame on all the other aspects of this league. You talk about taking accountability, you talk about this team being down there in the standings, you talk about the way this team was not able to re-sign players and the direction they're going down. Jim Benning laid everything, almost everything, in terms of this team's failures, its inability to win games, and he chalked it up to the same reasons that we've been talking about over the past few months. Oh, we're playing the same teams over and over again, so it's tough to win several games in a row. Oh, we're in a flat cap world, so it's difficult to go out there and make trades. Oh, we're in a Canadian division, and if we make any trades, we'll probably have to wait 3 weeks before we go out there and see that player on the ice. That makes it hard, you know? And I don't buy it because the rest of the Canadian division teams all are dealing with the same problems. It's not Vancouver that is isolated in a case right here. And when you talk about the way this team is going to go on into the next few days, how confident should the fan base be after the general manager comes out here and he says, oh, we take things day by day. We live day by day. It implies so much that there's like no plan set in place here, that everybody who saw this was like, oh, okay, that's why they didn't end up going out there and making a solidified plan for Tanev and Markstrom and Levo and Stetcher and all the other guys whom Jim Benning said, oh, we had communication with them. Yeah, we communicated with the agents and we thought that we did have proper communication with them, even though the stories coming out of these players and their agents and their camps and all that, it was like, yeah, Vancouver did not communicate with us properly. You want to talk about planning? Well, in the press conference, they also spoke about what Jim Benning said back when he was hired in 2014. How he said that he wanted to be competitive in 4 or 5 years' time. Well, it's 2021 now, and the team is not competitive. I mean, they won yesterday against Toronto. I won't take that away from them, but do you still think this team is what people would define as competitive and a cup contender and all that stuff? Because that's what Jim Benning said he wanted this team to be back when he was acquired in 2014, 5 years later, which is 2 years ago now, and he comes out here and he says that he thinks this team is going to be competitive in 2 years again in 2023? Bro, that would have been 10 years after he was hired. He said he wanted to be good 5 years afterwards. And you know, that's fine in some circumstances if you could take accountability, acknowledge your mistakes, and figure out a way to go from here and establish that to those who are asking the questions. But no, there isn't any accountability here. It's not one mention of, oh, we did this, and this wrong, which is why we're going to formulate a plan to not make the same mistakes in the future. To make sure with Tanner Pearson, he's dealt with. We know what's going on with him. With Petey and Hughes, we're going to wait till after the deadline to re-sign those contracts. We're going to do that when we get there. Jim Benning said several times in this press conference that they have time to do these things. And, you know, normally, under normal circumstances, in any shape of the word, I would be okay with that, but the problem is you had this problem last year, where they thought they had a lot of time, and then they ended up losing it because they ran out of time, in the words of Benning himself. He said those comments, by the way, were overblown, but you know what? Talking about the way this Vancouver Canucks team has been assembled, he ends up talking about the Eriksson contract too, and he says, oh, you know, it's just how it is. Every team has bad contracts. Yeah, well, that was only on the Eriksson contract, you know? The Vancouver Canucks have like 5 or 6 or 7 bad contracts on their roster right now. And it's not just Eriksson. Sure, teams have bad contracts, but how many other teams out there have the absolute weighing down anchors of bad deals that the Vancouver Canucks have in their bottom 6 and Utica and the taxi squad, not even suiting up for the lineup? How many? It's just Vancouver, and the fact that the justification that he has for the team being in this position right now is, oh, because it's a flat cap, because we're in the Canadian division, because we're playing the same teams over and over again. Things are going to be different when we play other teams in America, one and dones, and then we're going to play other teams. We're going to wait until then right there. We know that things are going to be normal when we play other teams again, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, okay, what happens if the Vancouver Canucks do that next year and they're still bad? The excuse that Jim Benning has for this team being poor is going to be gone. You have a team that went to the playoffs last year and they had bubble success. Benning alluded to that quite a lot, yes, but he also alluded to how he feels that in 2 years this team is going to be better, even though this year was supposed to be the step forward this team was going to take. And oh, it's okay if it's not a step forward anymore because, oh, we're in a flat cap and we're in the North Division and there's a pandemic. Where's the consistency here? I can totally understand now why Jim Benning went out there and he said, oh, we live day by day. We take things day by day. The implications of any plans you have here or any long-term planning of events or progression, it's not really there, you know? That's just kind of how I feel about it, which is why I'm so up in arms about this whole press conference. And it's crazy because the rest of the fan base was supposed to use this as a blanket over the fire. If there was anything that this press conference was supposed to solve, it was the panic. It was the notion that this team is taking a step back. It's how this team is underperforming and where they're going to go from here. That's what this press conference was supposed to do. But turn on your Facebook, turn on your Twitter, turn on your Instagram, turn on all the things where Canucks fans are showing off their input, and you'll see that it did the exact opposite. Even in the media on the radio, they're slamming Jim Benning for what has gone on over here because what this press conference did, instead of acting as a blanket, was just pour some more oil over that flaming hot blaze because it made things worse in understanding just where this Vancouver Canucks team is in their timeline, and it turned the focus on what they have to be doing to plan for this team's future, and it showcased how Jim Benning is just kind of going day by day instead, because obviously there's no reason to go out there and blame yourself because, hey, it's a flat cap, it's the North Division, it's fine. We'll deal with things next year when we're playing against other teams and we're not playing the Canadian teams over again, right? That's when things will be okay. Yeah, I gotta probably watch a movie or something. I've been getting owned in Hot Champs earlier today, so I'm kind of pissed off already. And now I'm talking about this press conference. I tried to play Hut while listening to the press conference over and over again. Maybe that's kind of why I was losing a ton, but yeah. Talk to me in the comments what you thought about this Jim Benning press conference and this video topic as a whole. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.